Everyone, sorry about that little bit of congestion there. My fault for not sending the forwarding link from the community.live to this link here. So shame on me, and please forgive me. Thank you for Virginia for always forgiving me. And Tawanda and Lizette and Nelson, everyone here. Thank you guys. Hopefully today you get something today that's going to help you with your business, but also not only just help you with your business, give you knowledge moving forward. So many different changes going on. The purpose of our sales rally is to give you updates, give you market stats, give you everything that you need to just run your business, right? So we know that there's a substantial amount of changes going on, and we're here to inform you on those changes. Okay. So number one, EXP rallies. So whatever location you're in, EXP rallies are coming up from April 8th to the 15th. No matter what state you're in, EXP rallies are having something probably pretty close to where you are. I know up in Ohio, I think it's an hour and a half to 2 hours away. For me, it's an hour and a half away to Orlando location. So if you have never attended an EXP rally, I highly recommend you do that. Number one, you're going to get awesome information. Number two, you're going to hear all the great things coming out with the company, new marketing tools that are coming out, the new contract changes. Guys, Form Simplicity already has the new contracts in there. So you need to go in there and start looking. I haven't had a chance to log in. I forgot my password because I never go into Form Simplicity, but my wife does. So anyway, I'm going to go in there and look at those and get familiar with those because they're going to be mandatory. The new sales contract is in there. So whatever state you're in, keep an eye out for those. Also, every Friday, and I'm not sure if it's every state that wherever you are, that you get an email every Friday with a EXP newsletter from your state broker. Inside of that newsletter that you get every single Friday has so much information in it of the changes, of the things that are going on, of all the trainings happening, the information that you need that you say you don't get. So I highly recommend that you look at those every Friday, and it will come from your state broker. I know for us, the state broker sent out the buyer's agreement, the representation links for what those agreements look like. So all of those things are going to be coming out to you every Friday in an email. Stevie, thank you for getting on, my friend. Appreciate you. So I
Took
know
long
that's
enough.
a little confusion. So
Yeah,
I'm
no,
going to
we're good.
cover.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Stevie's going to be working with me on this, and he's going to be taking
Oh,
over about 10 till 9. And
no,
he's
Tawanda is. What are you talking about?
oh,
I'm not.
Tawanda is. Yeah, Tawanda will. She's like my wife. She'll beat you if you put her on the point and tell her to jump on stage and start speaking without preparation. All right. So updates. I'm going to cover a few updates on NAR. Stevie's going to cover the market stats. I sent him some NAR market stats, and he's going to cover those with you. And then I'm going to dig into some of the new marketing tools that EXP has that's directly beneficial for you. Okay. So update on NAR. Let me pull up my stuff here. Righty. Let me see here.
There still hasn't been signed off on yet, right, Tom? I mean, it's still, I mean, I'm pretty sure nothing will change, but as of right now,
No, it has not, Steve. It has not been updated. I mean, it has not been finalized, but all the states are preparing their documents, and NAR is telling us all to be prepared for July, regardless. Even if it doesn't get signed off on, they're implementing it by state with the commission. New listing agreements that are out right now. You might want to get familiar with them. They're not showing co-broke compensation. The new sales contract is going to have some stipulation in there. The buyer's agreements are something that you want to have in place because it's directly talking about exactly how you're being compensated. Okay, so that's highly important. All right, so I got my stuff right here, so I'm gonna
With
shoot.
respects to our settlement too, I don't want to bore people with the company, but EXP has still got to settle. They're not trying to do a part settlement. Sean Murphy, I was on a call yesterday. They're trying to settle the whole thing. Thankfully, from a cash position where we're at versus companies like Compass and Coldwell Banker, we're going to be fine. This could be like an end of game thing for Compass. I don't know if they've settled yet, but potentially it could be catastrophic. So just
Yeah,
in summary, we're coming tomorrow because of our cash position and the health of the company and the balance sheets. When we do settle, everything's going to be fine.
Steve, I want to jump on that because this is a topic, and you're going to cover the the market stats. Because we keep reiterating and we keep talking about this, the NAR settlement is you are protected under NAR settling this settlement. You as a realtor are protected, so you're not going to go ahead and get sued. You are protected under the agreement and on the NAR settlement. And basically what that means is you don't have nothing to worry about moving forward. Okay. Now, EXP and several of the other brokers like Remax, Keller Williams, and all the brokers doing 2 billion or above have been named in this lawsuit. It's the company, it's not you. Okay. And Glenn Sanford made a statement several months back that there's 110 million in a reserve account for anything that may be needed. Okay, so we are perfectly fine where it's not going to hurt our numbers. It's not going to hurt our profit margins. There is a reserve already settled there. Now, I want to kind of jump into just kind of some of those things that we're preparing for. Number one, even though there's no broker compensation in the MLS, we need to do a very good job educating our sellers on how commissions work, preparing them for a buyer's agent to ask for a commission to procure a buyer. Okay? If the seller says, no, I'm not doing that, educate them on how the commissions actually work and what they're netting. It's the best thing that you can do. Show your value proposition, show them why 76%, actually 76% of all the sales in the US last year were represented by two realtors, a buyer's agent and a listing agent. Only 24% of the transactions were a listing agent. So basically what that means is, Mr. Seller, if we don't pay or put money aside for a compensation to the buyer's agent and the buyer can't pay that, we're missing 76% of the buyer opportunities to put an offer on your home. Would you prefer to just work with the 24%? Or would you like to work with 100% of the opportunities out there to see your home that can bring more money and multiple offers possibly?
That's good.
That right there is educating them. I'm already getting people calling me. I'm getting family members calling me. I'm getting fellow agents calling me and going, this is going to ruin our market. No, this is preparing our market for true professionalism.
With that mindset, they're in trouble already.
Exactly. I asked them if they could send over their database when they go ahead and go inactive. So think about that too. If somebody's saying I'm getting out of the business, perfect. We have a great referral program. I'll take over your database and I'll give you a referral on anybody that buys or sells through it. Is that okay? All right. So I'm going to open up my screen so I can give you a better idea of what these updates are going to look like.
It's a decoupling of commission, right? The commission was coupled together before, but they've just separated it. That's it.
Correct. Absolutely. They did. So if you've ever sold commercial real estate, you would know that there's in the sales contract, it says who's paying the commission, okay? So the NAR settlement, bite the bullet and start now. You got to start preparing. And again, I did the same similar presentation last week. You must start preparing now. You got buyer presentations in your marketing toolkit. You have all kinds of information to start a buyer presentation now. See, if you don't sit with a buyer, you'll never understand their true goals and what they need. Now, it's always called speed to lead, right? Speed to lead. Get to the home, show them the home, right? I get it. We're going to have to start getting a buyer presentation. Great. You want to see the home right now. Can we go through a few questions prior to getting there? Do something. Don't wait till the last minute and then start panicking come July. Okay. So the compensation rules, no requirement to be a member in an association or MLS to receive compensation. So if somebody's a commercial broker and they're not in the MLS, and they can still write an offer and get compensated. No offer of buyer compensation allowed in the realtor MLS anymore. Guys, there will no longer be, when you're working with a buyer, and go look in the MLS to see what your compensation is. Think about this for a second. If we were worrying about all the time, we would check the MLS to see what the listing agent was going to pay us to bring a buyer, and then we'd get mad if it was 1%. Think about this. Now you have the opportunity to do your buyer's agreement and negotiate what your true commission and your true value is for the representation of that sale. Whether the buyer pays it all or whether the seller agrees to participate through concessions. Okay, there's no requirement on unilateral offer of compensation to a buyer broker. So there will be very clear concessions. So the seller will say, we'll give up to 6% concessions or whatever. There are some rules that need to change in the ethics rule book, where we can go to the buyers, the listing agent or the seller, and do a commission agreement. We can't create a non-MLS mechanism. Don't go in social media and go, hey, I have this listing and my seller is willing to pay a commission. You can do that on your website, but you can't do it in social media. You can't do it in groups, social groups, Twitter, Tweeter, all those things. The buyer broker compensation can be listed on the brokerage or agent website for brokers listed only. See, here's the thing that we have that is dynamic. So if you're not with EXP and you're on this call, I apologize. There's no apology. Ask your company what they may have. But we have an app, and we have a system called Zenlist. Zenlist, ZENLIST.com. Zenlist. So what that means is it is a off-market portal. You can put your MLS listings in there and everything else. In that portal, you can list compensation to the buyer's agent. So we are still going to be able to reach out to all the buyers agents that are in our Zenlist to show them that we have compensation for them. Okay. So a couple of things I really think that is highly important before I turn it over to Steve to go into market stats, and is this: keep an eye out for your Friday emails, number one. Number two, go to Form Simplicity or Transaction Desk and start pulling down the updated listing agreements, the updated buyers, the listing agreements, the updated buyer sales contracts, all of that, and start getting familiar right now. Guys, the first quarter is already gone. We're going to be in July in 3 months. Listings that go up in June are going to fall probably into the category of showing no compensation. Are you prepared? Start preparing now. It's not difficult. It's only difficult if we don't do it. buy a presentation, ask questions. So Steve, tell me, what's so important to move to Orlando for you? Tell me, what are the must-haves? Tell me, how close do you need to be to schools, hospitals, airports? Tell me, are schools important to you for your children? Tell me, is a pool 100% necessity, or can that be if you find the perfect home without a pool? So tell me, how many bedrooms, how much square footage is needed? All of those things are not being done now that need to be done. And that's what a buyer consultation is. It's diagnosing the needs of the consumer. So prepare buyers consultations, get familiar with the listing agreements and the as-is contracts or whatever sales contract that you have in your state, and start practicing. Start practicing on the consumer. Get a role play partner. Guys, I am sorry, but I have to go, and I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen, and Steve is actually going to take over right now. And I don't know where it says, oh, here we go. Stop sharing the screen. And Steve, I'm going to make you co-host, so that way there you can take over from here. I got a state meeting I have to jump into, so.
I understand. They're more important than we are, Tom. That's okay.
You know what, Stevie?
We'll remember this, Tom. Don't you worry.
Oh,
Okay.
listen, Lizette, don't you laugh and entice and get him going, okay? All right, guys, listen, have an amazing day. Thank you guys for showing up. Sorry for the mass confusion on that. And I appreciate you all. And Jennifer, please call me later today, probably around 11-ish. And have an amazing day, guys. Thank you.
Dun, dun, dun. Thank you, Tom. All right, so we're going to get interactive. And if nobody volunteers, I'm going to single and call somebody out. Tawanda, don't you move. Don't go make oatmeal, because we did that yesterday. I want to say Tawanda was on our lead gen accountability call yesterday, first time from 9 to 11, friggin' crushed it. She did disappear for about 8 minutes to make the longest bowl of oatmeal ever. But she did book an expired appointment, which was awesome. So I dropped something in the chat right there, right? Copy and paste that. You want to write it out 30 days every morning, chant it out loud, and then you could role play it with somebody. Basically, the general gist is if you're at a listing appointment, it's educating the seller on the commission breakdown and letting them know, hey, look, let's look at other listings in your immediate area and see what they're cooperating and what they're paying. And based on that, I suggest you offer out 3%, and my minimum fee is 3% to handle the listing side. From start to finish, sound good. It's just a simple script that I picked up that I'm going to start implementing into my presentation. So you guys can copy and paste that. What do you, before I don't want to drone on about stats forever. I'm going to get into it now in a minute. But what are you guys hearing? I mean, if you're talking to enough people daily, what kind of objections are you hearing, or what kind of stuff are you struggling with? Whether it be interest rates too high, market's going to crash, we would sell, we've got nowhere to go. Is anybody running into any of this? All right, who can
Steve,
I pick? I was
Steve,
coming to you too, Keith. Don't you worry.
All
What's
right.
up, buddy?
I'm great. Am I in the queue or am I up?
No, you're up. Now you're in.
Okay.
Now you're in the hot seat.
All right, good. Hey, two things I hear. Number one, people are just completely confused by what the NAR settlement means. They just can't make sense of it. It's such a paradigm shift from what we've all known that they're just confused and they need some good explanation of it. And number two, a lot of people still under that assumption that prices are going to go down instead of up. And you just have to explain that one to them in layman's terms. Those are the two things.
If other people are struggling with that on the call, how are you dealing with that? You know, I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. I mean, it's if you're struggling, you always come back with a question, but let's me and you role play. So Keith, I appreciate you calling, but
Sure.
I think the market's going to crash. I'm just going to wait.
Well, Steve, can I offer a couple of thoughts and then you decide what you think about this?
Absolutely, Keith.
Okay, so here, a lot of the economists and the Federal Reserve has said they're going to lower the interest rates 3 times this year between June and the end of the year. What that's going to do, Steve, is going to really bring those interest rates down in a way that could save you on your monthly payment. And you probably talked to family and friends who said, we're just going to wait for the rates to come down. But one of the dynamics that people need to understand, Steve, is that there's still a shortage of houses to buy in Central Florida. So if you have not enough houses to buy and the rates come down noticeably to save people a noticeable amount of money each month, and all these people that sitting on the sidelines and all of a sudden they dive into the market to buy a house at the same time with a limited supply, what do you think could happen in that case?
Well, I mean, I guess there's going to be some demand and probably multiple offers, and you know what I mean? I would think.
That's what we believe, Steve. That's what the lenders I talked to, the home insurance folks, and my colleagues at EXP all think is that
Ooh, you were on a roll, Keith.
looking at a time with a limited supply, with a lot of people who've waited, and they're all going to dive in at the same time because it's going to make sense. Huh? Did I lose you audio wise?
No, you did and you didn't. So yeah, basically, and then close for the appointment, right? We got to acknowledge
Did I
it.
go out?
Yeah, a
lose you
little
guys?
bit, Keith. You're in and out. So you got to acknowledge it. You got to clarify it. You got to isolate it and then overcome it, right? So acknowledge their concerns, agree with them, clarify that that's the only thing, isolate it, and then you'll overcome it. Anybody else? Let's say interest rates are too high. Lizette, I'm gonna wait for
Yeah,
interest
find
rates
a
to
way
come down.
Huh?
I'm gonna wait for interest rates to come down, Lizette.
Well, you could wait for the interest rates to come down, but we're talking about we're coming into the hot market in the summer, so the likelihood you're gonna pay more for a home than what you would pay now is very high. And let me show you the numbers. Let's do the numbers. Let's break it down a 30-year term and see what that looks like, waiting now and in a couple months.
Understood. Boom. You can always question, right? Ask them what makes you think interest rates are going to come down. You can always buy yourself some time, and also by doing that, you're clarifying. You'll find out exactly what their concerns are. Also, considering the average interest rate for the last 20 years has been between 5 to 6%, of what interest rate would you feel comfortable buying at? So you can kind of determine where they want to be or what's comfortable for them. Is anybody else hearing anything else that they're struggling with? What about sell and buy? I wanna sell, but I've got nowhere to go. Tawanda, how you handling that? You're on mute, honey. Mute, honey, mute.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk to them about is the knock program or similar programs where you have the option of buying first and then selling. We'll see if we can get qualified for that first. And then if not, then we'll, let's talk about listing. Let's talk about it's how stressful it's going to be, but it could happen in the hands of the right agent where you list your house, get under contract, and then we work our magic and try to, get another one under contract. But it all, in doing that, the numbers got to line up, the closing dates and everything else has to line up. So, okay, but I'm going too deep into it. But yes, that's what I would suggest.
So those are some options, right? Those are some
Yeah.
options that they can do. What you could do is just ask them, you could ask them directly, hey, if understanding that I would assume you're looking at Zillow for houses that you would potentially buy if you did sell. Have you seen some homes that you would have bought if you would have had the time or if the timing had been right, right? Because it's not an inventory issue, it's a speed issue. It's not an inventory issue. If they had their home sold and they were ready to go, they would have bought these homes that they were looking at online. So there's a couple of options. We'll do language in an offer that basically says that they're not obligated to close until they find an acceptable property. Obviously, you've got to put a timeline on that. Normally we do 3 weeks to 30 days. And then in some cases, with the buyer being committed at that point, they've extended. So you can put language in that contract, right? Stating that they're not obligated to close. They can accept an offer on a property, list it, get it listed, get it on the market, accept an offer. They're not obligated to close until they find an acceptable property within 30 days of the effective date. All the risk at that point is on the buyer, and you can articulate that to them during the listing appointment. So, Nancy, yeah, you can put that on the last page.
The other thing, Steve,
Yeah.
that I just want to remind people, we forget as we're running, because we're programmed to just go to the automatic traditional way we do things. But there's also programs called NOC. They're still in work. They're still in effect. They're still working.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's lines of credits. A lot of homeowners right now that have been homeowners for more than 4 or 5 years have a lot of equity in their homes, and they're able to tap into a line of credit with a HELOC with a low interest rate, where they can use that to buy another home and transition and not have to leave their home. So there's still other ways. You just have to present it to them, so that way they're not scared to jump over the fence and buy and sell. I mean, sell and buy.
What would, for people on the call, Liz, and thank you, I appreciate that. What's, can you break down the NOC program in simple terms?
Simple terms, not program. So for the convenience, just in summary, they'll let's say they charge a small fee. To a seller's gonna sell, they have to pre-qualify in their program. And if they pre-qualify, everything is good, they will give them like a bridge loan. They will buy their future home cash. And then they're able to sell their home as they buy their home, they move in, and they can then sell their home and not be liable to having to worry about where they're gonna move or transition.
Right, and they'll be able to purchase as a cash purchaser,
Yeah.
correct?
Correct, sorry, yeah.
And then they'll pay NOC a convenience fee for that. So it's
Yeah,
like a
it was
bridge loan.
1%. It is.
Is it 1%?
It was 1% the last time I did a deal with them.
Okay,
And you're gonna close on your bridge loan 4 days prior to closing,
okay.
and then you'll close on the home, on your new home, get moved in, and then get ready to sell. And you can use some of the equity in your home to any type of renovations to your home before the listing go live.
That's right. Okay.
I've also done a hard money loan. I did it one time for a seller. He used a hard money loan to buy his future home. And that happened because they didn't qualify. They both retired. The funny thing is they retired. Now they have no income. So they couldn't buy their home. So we had to do a hard money loan to buy their home in Jacksonville. So then they could sell their current one. But that will happen if they don't have income. They don't qualify for loans, right? So that's another obstacle you're going to have.
What did they use as, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole too deep. What did they use as collateral for the hard money lender? Their existing house? Yeah.
No, they actually had they had money saved up. Now if their house is paid off, typically if your house is paid off, you can use it as collateral for hard money loans. So by the way, I know this is like a rabbit hole of topics, but you know, if you have a paid off home, you can use that as collateral to even start investing with no money. And that could be a whole nother topic. But anyway, yeah,
You need to do a call on that.
I
I
should.
think you should. All right,
Yeah.
so I'm going to share. I'm waiting for, what do you guys see? Hold on, it's loading. All right, so I'm waiting for March. Did you guys look at these? So this is January and February side by side. Right? Average sales price was down from December to January marginally, right? Only 2%. And then from January to February, it was down another %. So the average sales price in the Stellar MLS has gone from 467 to 456. What I found interesting was the inventory. So anybody know buyers and sellers market, months of inventory? When's the shift?
Is it 4 to 6 months?
5 to 7, right? So that's when the shift takes place. That's when it'll transition from a seller's market to a buyer's market during that 5 to 7 months of sitting inventory. So we had started that movement in January. If you look at January, we're at a 5.4 month supply. Okay. So I was thinking to myself, well, shoot, it's starting. It's gonna shift from a seller's market to a buyer's market. And then you look at February, 1 month later, and that inventory is right back down. We're at a 4.4 month supply. So going into spring, obviously, we always see more activity. We see more homes come on the market. I'm interested to see what March's numbers are. Days on market really hasn't changed. It's up 48 in December to 57 in February. So that's the average days on market right now if you're sitting with a seller. Anything else of interest for you guys, or anything you want to point out? No. So what I saw solds, if you look at solds in January, they were up 27% versus, is that right? Versus December, which was a huge jump. So the biggest things that stood out to me was the average sales price, the months of inventory, and then obviously days on market. So let me see if I can keep going here. Okay. All right. Recession. More economists now see a soft landing. The percent of economists seeing a recession in the next 12 months, it was 39%, 61% were seeing a recession. Now that's flip-flopped. So only 39%, 61% of economists see no recession in the next 12 months. Unemployment, I know you guys know, it's still low, 3.99%. Foreclosure metrics are still down. So no concerns with respect to short sales or foreclosures. There's 1.5 million fewer foreclosures in the last 5 years versus 17 and 18. So no concerns there. Equity, 67% of Americans have paid off their mortgage or have at least 50% equity. That is a huge number. 67% have either paid it off or have at least 50%. 38% of them own free and clear. 28% have more than 50% equity. And then 33%, excuse me, have less than 50% equity. So big numbers from an equity standpoint. Okay. Price appreciation. So I think this was forecast. So this is the final 2023 and a peek ahead to 2024. So on a national average, we still saw a 6.5% year-over-year appreciation. In our area, we were at 7.3, it looks like. Anybody have predictions for this year? Their own opinions they want to chime in with? Where do you think we're going to end up this year? Up, down, flat? Anybody?
I think we're gonna go up.
Don't everybody speak at once. You think we're going to go up?
Like prices? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say 4% appreciation by the end of the year in our area.
What's considered a normal market? Anybody know? 3 to 5%. That's considered a normal market, right? In a healthy, normal real estate market, we should be seeing 3 to 5% appreciation per year. Not unicorn COVID, 20, 30, 28%. So I personally think we're going to be marginal. I think we're going to be 1 to 2%. But understanding 3 to 5% appreciation is a normal market. Interest rates, I think they'll drop going into the third quarter. I think the lowest that we'll see is high 5s, low 6s. We're never going to be back 3 to 4%. So start educating your people. It's not going to happen. I think what happened was it was expectations. They got used to it. So understanding that the average mortgage rate for the last 50 years has been approximately 7%, at what interest rate would you feel comfortable buying at? Right? Because that's the average mortgage rate for the last 50 years, approximately 7%. NAR's got it at 1.4% appreciation. Goldman Sachs 5.5, 4.1, Zillow 3.5. This is year over year for 2024. The average of all of them is about 3.2. That's just more detailed. And then these are all considered normal real estate markets, right? Obviously, this is a big future prediction, but we're talking through 2028. So respectively 3.78, 3.36, and then 3 and 4% through 2028. And that's it. I don't think Tom had anything else. So where are we? 9:10. Any thoughts on any of that? No? Who has an appointment today? We should all be saying yes. Because seriously, if you didn't go on an appointment, what did you do?
Nothing.
You didn't do jack squat. So what I would suggest everybody do is pick up the phone when this call is over and have at least 5 conversations. Talk to 5 people today. And then for every action, there's a reaction. Work works. So try that and try doing that every day. What's the NOC program? We covered that. That's it. Tom had a couple more, but there was really nothing of any noteworthiness. So is there any struggles? Anything anybody's struggling with? Maybe in the middle of negotiations with a certain buyer, a certain seller, having grief? No? All right, well, I'm gonna wrap it up. I wish you guys every bit of luck today. Be productive, and get into action. Nothing changes until you get into action, right? So the most expensive thing in the world is the future cost of your current decisions. The most expensive thing in the world is the future cost of your current decisions. All right, have an awesome morning. Hey, I'll see you guys in a minute. Are you ready? Are you ready to lead gen?
Let's do it.
Okay, if anybody wants to jump on, you can. It's Zoom with Steve P. I almost forgot my own Zoom. ZoomWithSteveP.com. All right. Have a blessed day, you guys.